What's up, guys? I'm here with another video. Today, well, not today, but I had started doing my upper and lower control arms, so I'm going to show you what I have started so far, what I'm doing right now. I am doing the upper and lower control arms. So this is the passenger side of the lower and upper control arms, and I'm also doing suspensions. So here's what I've done so far. I had went with the BC coilovers, as you can see. BC coilovers. I changed my upper control arms, so they are brand new. Nothing is tightened yet, but I changed my upper control arms on the passenger side, my tie rods, my lower control arms over here. I changed this one too, the sway bar in link. And then on the driver's side, this is what I'm getting started with now. So I just put in the suspension. I gotta put in the upper control arms, and that's about it. So I'm not pretty sure if these are known or common on a V6, but this is what happened to the old hat when the old suspension was in, which is right here. Not sure. I'm not sure if it's due to the weight, or I'm not sure what it is, but this is what happened, why I had done my suspension, because the car did kind of feel a little off. So I was like, let me just give it a little refresh. Suspension, upper and lower control arms. So I was doing my suspension and I realized this was messed up, so I'm saying, why is it like this? So I ended up ordering 2 new top hats. So as you can see, I have the BC Racing suspension in. As you can see, the new top hats. I don't know if you can see, but this little ring right here, right there, that's what it's supposed to look like. Nice round circle, not cracked up or messed up. It's supposed to be a nice round circle. So now what I'm getting ready to do, I'm gonna put the upper control arms inside of these holes. But before I do that, I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on them. Some STP grease all purpose. So I'm gonna put that around these, so that way it doesn't have a hard time coming out when I try to take them out again in the future. So I'm gonna start it off like this. Start off like this. Not so much. Something a little bit like this. Not so much. So I'm gonna this around like that. And around like this. Nothing crazy. Make sure you get it a decent amount. And then I'm gonna put some in the holes. Should be good enough. And then I'm gonna take my upper control arms, and do one at a time. So don't have really much a lot of leverage to hit it. So perfect. Now this one. Got it down. So now the next thing we're gonna go with is our pinch bolt. So with our pinch bolt, I am going to put some anti-seize on this. I'm gonna do the whole bolt. Some people just say to stop like preferably right here after the line. I'm gonna do the whole friggin' bolt. So here's here. Pinch bolt, the anti-seize. Slide the bolt through now. And wind it up. That's a lot of dirt. Jesus. Now we're gonna use our 17 millimeter for this side and our 5/8 on this side, or in other words a 16 millimeter wrench on this side. I'm not sure why this is a 17 and this is a 5/8 or 16 millimeter. I'm not sure why, but yeah. So you can tighten this, but I wouldn't like crazy over tightening it, but tighten it as tight as possible. So that's it. So upper control arms are in. This is in. Correct. And now we move to the tie rod, which is right here. So now the next thing is the tie rod. So you're gonna use a 16 millimeter to get this nut off. You're gonna use a 13 millimeter to get this nut right here off. So that's next. Now before we get this tie rod off, I'm gonna take off the 16 millimeter nut, then loosen this 13 millimeter nut up here, and then there's a screw back here. If I can show you, I believe it's right here. You're gonna use, I think, a 22 millimeter to loosen it. Don't screw it off, but loosen it. So when you loosen it, this whole thing should twist. So I'll show you guys. So you're gonna use a 22 millimeter, and you're gonna put it on. You're gonna twist where it breaks freely. In this case, I might have to. So here it is, 22 millimeter. You're gonna see this nut twist. Okay. So that nut right here is loose. So now what you want to do, like I said, 16 millimeter, 13 millimeter, and drop this out. There's a bolt back here, I believe. So once you take this 16 millimeter nut out, this is the nut that's holding back here. I'll show you. Now this could mean one or two things. It's either this could be seized, or it just has, I don't know. The passenger side was hell. I had to use an air hammer to take this out. passenger side, I don't know why it's so easy, but it's sliding out, as you can see, and you could take this 13mm out. Now this slides out, and this comes out. Once this comes out, you should be good. Now the next step, what you want to do, you want to hammer this out. So once you hammer it out, this is the strap out. Just like that. And then now, this is where it gets difficult. So this whole thing twists, right? So now, here's where you have to play the guessing game. I don't know if you can see. This whole thing, it twists. It's not supposed to twist. So, this is seized inside. So now there's one thing you could do, what I recommend. You take a wrench, you hold it, and you take like a vice grip, and you twist this until it spins. So, this is the issue I ran into with the other side. So that's seized in. So I'm gonna show you guys if I can. So because this is spinning from the back, I just showed you how it's spinning from the back. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this back in here. Put this back in here. And I'm gonna use my 3/4 and spin this part to get it cracked. So being that I still can't get this side, I got the vice grip on it, and I got the 3/4 on the other side over here. It's not coming out due to it being seized. So guys, if you're gonna do any type of upper or lower control arms, please soak them. Please soak them. Please soak them. Please soak them. I'm saying this so many times because I've seen worse. Please soak them. Alright, so I couldn't get the tie rod out, so I'm just gonna let that soak. Got my tie rod out, by the way, so it kind of looks like this because I had heat on it. So yeah, it wasn't coming out other than heat at this point. So I had thrown on some heat on it, and I had make sure you put like some white out on the threads so you don't lose your mark. So I'm gonna show you what I did with mine. How did I get mine off? So here's the old one. I got it off. So I had to take the 22mm right here and bring it all the way to the end. And then when I did that, I had to twist it off this direction, because it goes on this direction like this, and it comes off this direction. So what I did was I took the 22mm and put it all the way to the end, and then I had to throw some heat on this right here. As you can see, this is melted off, sadly, but I could fix this. But I had thrown on some heat right here, and then I had put this all the way to the end. So I had to use an 18mm up here to hold this, and the 22mm right here to twist it like this. So you see how it's twisting like that? So, but this is how I basically got it off. So, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, and here's the whiteout that I had marked. So I knew where this 22mm was. So here it is right here. So just about like right here is where that nut was. So yeah, pretty much. So what I'm gonna do now is, just for any future reference, when I want to take this tie rod out, I'm just gonna throw a little bit of anti-seize in that little hole right there. So in the future, when I try to take it out, it doesn't freeze up on me again. because that heat was ridiculous. Like, true people would know exactly what I'm talking about when they have things that seized up. So I put a little anti-seize in there, not so much. Anti-seize is in there, and then here's the new tie rod right here. So I'm gonna thread it in. And this is where you get your 18mm, because this whole thing is starting to twist, as you can see. The whole thing is starting to twist. So I'm gonna get my 18mm and hold it while I twist this in. And make sure your notch is corrected. That way it can go into this slot right here, this little ring, this hole. Make sure it's correct, so that way it lines up inside. So then you just put the tie rod in, and you just right, and then after that you get your bolt right here. Throw some anti-seize on this. Flip to the back. Like that. Wind this on. And get your 13mm nut. Put it up top. So once you have that, and you can start tightening. You can tighten these two. 16. Here's my 13. Out. So now my next step is to unloosen this right here. This is a size 18, so I'm gonna use this and take it out. So here's that 18mm nut. I have my log on the jack because due to the suspension being dropped, I needed to get to this bolt and I couldn't use the wrench, so I'm going to use the impact. Came off pretty easy, okay. So now 18mm nut is off. Now I'm going to drop this. Now my next step is to take this out. So I'm going to take this bolt out. There's a nut in the back right here. As you can see, I'm going to take that out. It's two 18mm also. So I'm going to go and take that out. So these are two 18mm. I'm going to use a pipe because this 3H isn't really working with the 3H by itself, so I'm going to use a pipe. So it will be hard because I guess it was seized up due to the time it was being in there, so I'm gonna do it. Alright, so I got the nut out. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a hammer and hammer this up where this comes out, or I can use this. So, either way, I'm going to try the hammer first. Wow, you saw that? Bloopers. Jesus Christ. Look at the bushing. Oh my gosh. Jesus, this is done. This is finito. Wow. Okay. Look at that. That's crazy. I could look right through and say hello. Jesus, that's crazy. Second thought, I'm gonna use this tool and this, take it out a little bit up. So got it out. I ended up having to use the impact because the ratchet wasn't working, so I ended up using the impact to take this out. So, and this is one. Damn, this is so sad. Look at this hole, man. I can't get over this. And look at this. It's crazy. So this is the next side of the control arm that gotta come off. This is a whole thing over here. And that bolt is right here. That bolt is right here. I gotta get loose here. It's an 18mm. So yeah. So here it is up here, 18mm. I use a pole because the wrench is too short. I don't have that much power tools to fit in there. So there we go. And just like that. Now are we out? So there's a bolt that's gonna be right here, right? This bolt is gonna be facing this direction. This one is bent because I went ahead and used the grinder to bend it down. Now the reason being why I did that is because, as you can see, it hits right here. It hits right here. So I ended up using the grinder, and I ended up using my pole right here and bending it down. That way I can get it out like this. It's gonna slide all the way out. As you can see, you see how long it is. it's gonna hit the back of the wall right here. So there's two ways you can do this. One, you can either loosen the subframe, which I'm really not going to do, or two, take a grinder and cut it, or I don't know how I should really say it, but like not really cut it, but like cut as much as possible and get like a bar like this, or a bend I should say, and then have it slide out like this. And here it is, just like that. So this is basically it. Then after you do that, put your arm in right here, and just feed it through the hole. Feed, 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 feed. Just keep feeding. Like that. And then you put your nut on. Now, with this, you're not going to tighten. You're going to just leave loose. Why do you leave it loose? Is because, remember, the car weight has to go on it. So you don't want to tighten this. You just want to thread it on, just for now. And then, that's just pretty much it. When you thread it on for now. Just a reminder, your car weight has to go on it. So, and that's it on one side. And then now I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize on this, so that way in the future, when I try to take it out, it will come out smoothly. And then also, here's our new nut. Let's rub it around. And then you slide it up in there. Slide it up in there. Get the new nut. And you just thread it on. See? New nut is on. And then I'm gonna leave it just like that for now. Here's the other one. I'm gonna show you how that goes back in. So the location for it goes right here, right here, right here. So I'll show you in this location right here. So here's the nut. So how we're gonna thread this through here is you're gonna take it and you're gonna stick it inside the engine mount like this. Put it straight through here. Then you take the nut, and the nut goes in the back over here. That's it. So I'm gonna show you. Before we do that, I'm gonna put some anti-seize on this right here, around this part right here. So just a little bit, not too much, nothing crazy. Just give it a little rub around. Just give it a little rub around. And then after that, gonna stick it in here. Here is the new nut right here. And then you put this up right here. Okay, it doesn't want to go up, so I have to use a mallet. The bolt should be able to slide through now, so let's see. Good. Alright guys, so got my nut to go through from this side to the other side right here. So I'm gonna tighten this when I have the full weight on the car, and then I went through and put in the nut for the suspension from here to over here, and then we're gonna start to tighten the ball joints. So this one and that one up there, if you guys can see. We're gonna tighten those. And we're gonna tighten this also. So here's my old sway bar. This can't be reused because the passenger side, the threads is ruined. So I'm gonna show you guys. So it'll be this side. Is it this side? I don't know if you can see, but the threads, I think it's the other side. Hold on, I'm sorry. Yes, it's definitely this side. The threads, I'm not sure if you can guys see, but the threads, they're ruined, so it couldn't be used. So I had got another one, which is over there, which is this one over here. So I'm gonna give it a little color today. I might as well. It's nice outside. So yeah, that's pretty much. Well, that's the new sway bar, and this is the old sway bar. And also the bushings on this one's actually better than the ones that I have. They're OEM, but they're in a way better condition, as you can see. So, but it's the new one. It's gonna get a color today. I have no idea what color I'm gonna put it, but it's gonna get a color today. And here's the old one. So since this is green, right? I'm gonna show you the color I actually went with. 3, 2, 1. Look at that. Look at that. Not even clear coated yet. Look at that though. Looks nice. For a green, it looks very nice. I was gonna do yellow, but something just told me to do the green, so I just did the green and just called it a day. But yeah, it's a green sway bar. Why not, right? Why not? I'm gonna throw some clear coat in a few. But why not? Hey, look at the detail. So, okay, so sway bar is in. You're gonna tighten these 4 bolts. 1, 2, and then 3 on that side, and the 4th one is the top one. But you have to do it with the weight on the car. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the jack and jack up one side and go for right height, and then tighten everything on that side, and then the same thing for the driver's side, or vice versa. You take the jack and you put it up to right height and you tighten everything. The reason why you don't tighten this while it's on the ground, because these sway bar end links has bushings inside of them. As you can see, they have bushings. So what you want to do is you want to jack it up to right height and then tighten everything. Okay, so sway bar end links are tightened on this side and on this side right here. And now we're tightening this arm right here. So, and that's with the weight on the car. Use my jack. Okay, now this one, well, I'm gonna tighten it right now. Okay. It's tightened. Okay. So this side, I'm gonna back it up. Stop. I'm gonna tighten my sway bar end links on this side. Okay. Alright, so this sway bar inlet is tightened with the bottom one. So now I'm gonna go on the other side and tighten these bushings back here. Tighten this one right here. And I'm gonna tighten this one right here. Okay, so I'm gonna start right now. Whew. Okay. Whew. Outside. That's it. And then the next thing is you're gonna tighten the control arms. Now, OEM spec for this nut, this bolt, I'm sorry, and this nut. So this bolt would be a 5/8 or a 16, but the nut size is different for the aftermarket control arm. So this one is a 17 mil. So I'm gonna have my 5/8 right here, and then here's my 17 millimeter. Tight. Then the other side, same thing. right here. It's kind of difficult to hold the camera in this position and wrench this at the same time. Side. Get some momentum. See if I can get it now. Nope, that's not working out. Okay. Alright, that's tight. So we're gonna go over everything. This is tight. 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 And my friend right here. Where are you? My friend right here is tight. And right here. Right here. Where my finger is, but you can't. But right there is tight. Okay guys, so it's like at night. So I went ahead, I did the back. I'm letting you guys know now that the back is a bitch to get out. As you can see, I did a little bit of damage, which is right here. With the pry bar, tried taking it out. It took me a lot of time to get it out. It literally took me a lot of time. I ended up having to use this tool right here to get it out, to bring down the subframe a little bit more, and using the pry bar to pry it out. So as you can see, it's in. Spring is in. You have to use back the OEM one, the OEM top part right here, You gotta use that back, because the one that BC gives you, when you put the subframe up, it dangles around. So here it is right here. It dangles around. So you gotta use back this top OEM part right here. So, and then to take these out, you gotta do two 13mm bolts, which is up here. So yeah, pretty much. So now I gotta put back all this fender liner back in with Torx 20 screws, which are right here. All these Torx 20 screws. So, and that's for the other side. But yeah, it took majority of the day. So I'm gonna continue with this tomorrow. Alright guys, so today's another day. Tired, worn out. So we're gonna change the back right suspension. So the back rear, right side. We're gonna change the spring. We're gonna change this too. So what you wanna do is you wanna loosen these nuts right here. Let's see, right here. Basically all these screws from the liner. So like right here, right here, right here, right here. But I'm gonna go from this direction. Alright, so I took all my screws out. So I wanna take this off from this direction. FYI, please just prepare for this dust that's gonna come out, because if you have not changed a suspension on this car or on any B6, you will get a lot of dust. So just be cautious with that. Okay. So after you put your cover back, alright, there's two bolts up here. And those are 13 millimeters. So you're gonna take your 13 millimeters and take those two out. And then right here, see if I can show you. Right here is where, yes, right here is where you're gonna put your 21, your size 21 socket, and then you're gonna need another two on the other side, which is this bolt right here, this one right here, where my finger is on. I don't know if you can see it. Right here. You're gonna need something else to hold on this side, so you can pull this whole nut off. Okay, I'm gonna still keep trying. Okay, so it started moving. Okay, so here's my nut, here's my bolt, and here's the washer that came off of it. So now what I'm gonna do now is loosen the two 13 millimeter bolts. So here's my two nuts that came out of here. So what I'm gonna start doing now is I'm gonna wiggle until it comes out. So once it comes out, alright, and there we go. And wiggle until you get out. Alright. Now the next thing what you want to do is you want to not drop the subframe, but there's a bolt right here underneath. Right here. You want to not take the nut out, but loosen it. Like, drop it as much as you can, but don't let that bolt get out of the thread. Because if you get that bolt out of the thread, that's going to be a pain in the ass to get back in. So what you want to do is you want to take an 18 millimeter. I would prefer you use a breaker bar to break it, and then use the impact to loosen it, but not take it out. Why I say that? Because on the other side, I have to use the breaker bar to break it, and then use the impact to lower it, but not take the bolt out, but just to lower it enough where we can get this spring out. So here's the old spring that I got out. Right here. I used the pry bar, which is over there. Use the long pry bar just to have more leverage to get this out. So, and here's the bottom hat right here. You won't be needing this anymore. So, yeah, pretty much. So this is how the new coilover is gonna work. You're gonna put this part right here that came from the upper part, which is up here. You're gonna put it in this, and then you're gonna take the coilover, put it in, push it down, and get it inside this hole right here. So once it goes in that hole, then you're good, and then you can put your screw, which should be in. Mine still is. As you can see, it still is. You gotta wind it back up, and then I'll show you the next step right after. And then perfect. Seated incorrectly. Seated incorrectly. And then use the impact and wind it up. Wind it up. Now what you want to do with this, right? this nut is gonna spin because of this, right? So what you want to do is take a vice grip and grip it, and then you can begin to loosen. See? It starts to spin, so you're gonna loosen, and that's it. And that comes off. When that comes off, take this top hat off, and this is all you need. Ugh, I don't like the way how that looks, but this is what all you need. And then you can get the new one, just right here. Right here, take the nut off on top of it, slide it back down, and then you thread it. So I have my new nut on, same hat, and you just wind it down to impact. Oops. And that's it. And then after that, this hole right here, you gotta line this hole up right here like this. Make sure it goes inside, and then you gotta line up your 13 millimeters up here, your two 13 millimeters up here. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna thread my nut straight through back in that hole down here. So my nut, thread it straight through. Now I'm gonna use the impact and put it straight through. See how it went straight through? Right. Then my washer and my nut, gotta put on at the back. Washer and nut. Use this and hold it like this, and like impact like here, and right away we go. Just like that. And then finally our 13 millimeters. Side. And that's it. And then all you gotta do now is just put this cover back over, screw it on, and that's all.